Andy, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now, your organization normally provides food to over 250,000 people per day. What is that number like during lockdown?
Yes, hi Marcel, thank you very much for having us. What we are finding is that there is an overwhelming need across South Africa. I think the biggest threat at the moment, apart from the virus spreading, is the food security problem or the food insecurity problem we will face. So under normal circumstances, as you said, we provide food on a regular basis, on a monthly basis, to 670 registered non-profit organizations across the country, and they in turn collectively serve 255,000 people on a daily basis with meals. But we find that during the lockdown, the need is so great across vulnerable communities. And so what we've done was we've launched a 50 million rand appeal. And we've also launched an appeal to say if there are beneficiary organizations out there that need food, that are delivering verifiable services in communities, and they have the infrastructure to be able to feed people in poor communities, then reach out to us. So in the last few days alone, we've approved 110 new applications, and we anticipate a few hundred more in the coming days that we will be able to support. We have food. We've made our appeal. The supply chain has answered our call in a very big way. So far, we have more than 8 million rands worth of food donations in already, and that number is growing, but as the food comes in, it is going out, as well as 5.6 million rand worth of financial donations, which we are using towards scaling up and making sure that more and more South Africans are able to receive food during this very challenging time.
For those not familiar with the kind of work that FoodFoward SA does, you source, collect and you get food, edible surplus food from the supply chain that you just spoke of. Explain to us how that works and who you interact with in that supply chain.
Yes, so generally our core business is the recovery of edible surplus food from the supply chain. So we deal with all five, the big retailers, Pick n Pay, Shoprite, Checkers, Woolworths, Food Lovers Market and Spar, and they all donate into our warehouses across the country. But and then we also deal with farmers directly. Lots of farmers give us their surplus offtake, those that are out of spec for whoever they're growing for. So a lot of farmers donate into us, and we're able to give them tax certificates, and they save on dumping fees because we're able to save them some money that way. But there's a second way we get food into our inventory. It's via a piece of proprietary technology that we developed 4 years ago called FoodShare. And it's virtual technology where we connect our local beneficiary organizations to local stores. So Pick n Pay, Woolworths, and Food Lovers Market are part of our network. And where there are local stores in communities, we connect them to beneficiary organizations for the regular collection of surplus food. So we've got all the actors in the supply chain, or many actors in the supply chain, working with us to be able to take surplus food in the supply chain. I want to stress here that when we talk about surplus food, we're not talking about expired food. We're not talking about short-dated food. There are a huge number of inadequacies in the supply chain, over-ordering, incorrectly labeled goods, damaged goods in the supply chain. And for those reasons, food becomes surplus in the supply chain. It's that good edible surplus food that we are able to recover and then redistribute to vulnerable charities across South Africa.
Now, getting the food is one thing, but then distributing it to those who need it most is another. How do you go about doing that when you're normally in operation? And how does the lockdown now have an impact on that so that you can try and reach even more people who are vulnerable at this time?
Yeah. And under normal circumstances, we schedule all our beneficiary organizations. So each and every one of our beneficiary organizations receives once a month food groceries, and lots of it includes non-perishable groceries as well as fresh fruit and vegetables that we receive. And then during the month, they would also have an opportunity for a second collection where they're able to collect more food as the food comes into our warehouses. What we're finding now under COVID-19 and the pressure that we are facing with communities needing food right now, we are working over weekends, we are working in the evenings, and we have called in all our staff. So we are working at full capacity. We have a permit to be able to operate, and we are packing food on a daily basis, and we're getting that food out to communities, including distant rural areas. Our trucks are packed. We've got 14-ton trucks, 8-ton trucks, 5-ton trucks, and they all have cold chain capability, and we get food out on a regular basis to those rural communities. We take the food to them. We have a central collection point at each of our regions, and our beneficiary organizations, they come and fetch the food And so we focus on early childhood development centers, aged care facilities, people living with HIV and AIDS, and any other facility at this time where they have high risk or at-risk individuals. We are making sure that we provide to those organizations.
Well, we can only wish you everything of the best. Very, very important work that you're doing during this time of crisis in the country. That is the MD of FoodFoward SA, Andy du Plessis. And you can go online, you can Google them, they're on all these social media platforms if you want to find out how you can get involved and how you can help. There's so many of our fellow South Africans who need all the help that they can get at this time.